Does the United States need permission from the international community to take military action in Syria? Now, Secretary of Defense Panetta says the Obama administration, if it wanted to take military action, would seek approval from other countries. Really? What about the United States Congress? Was Secretary Panetta sparring with Senator Jeff Sessions at a committee hearing?
We spend our time worrying about the UN, the Arab League, NATO, and too little time, in my opinion, worried about the elected representatives of the United States. As you go forward, will you consult with the United States Congress, and do you think that you can act without Congress and initiate a no-fly zone in Syria without congressional approval?
You know, again, our goal would be to seek international permission, and we would come to the Congress and inform you and determine how best to approach this, whether or not we would want to get permission from the Congress.
I'm really baffled by the idea that somehow an international assembly provides a legal basis for the United States military to be deployed in combat. I don't believe it's close to being correct.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, joins us. Good evening, Ambassador. And the statement by the Secretary certainly has stirred up a controversy.
You know, if I had proposed a political novel to publishers in the United States where I'd said a Secretary of Defense would say that we could not engage in military action on behalf of the United States without the approval of the international community, they would reject it as being unrealistic. This is Senator Sessions was displaying some of his disbelief there, and he's absolutely right. It is incredible. And what's worse is if this is what the Secretary of Defense is prepared to say in public about getting UN approval, what do you think they're saying in private in the administration about restrictions on American sovereignty?
Well, I looked a little deeper, and there was some effort to clarify, because frankly, I thought that the use of the word seeking permission was quite bizarre. And what I was hoping to find is that what they were doing is that they were going to seek sort of cooperation or a coalition or work together or something. But the seeking permission, they backpedaled a little bit, but not totally.
No, I think actually it gets worse. This clip is about 7 minutes long in total, and it's on a number of websites. I'd urge everybody to watch it, because Secretary of Defense Panetta then goes on to say, before we can act internationally, we need a legal basis. Now, he's not talking about the Constitution. He's talking about a UN Security Council resolution. And this is fundamentally a European way of looking at the world. They say, is there legal authority to do something? Americans say, is there any legal prohibition? We're not looking for authority. We just want to know that what we want to do has not been prohibited elsewhere. It's a completely different mindset than the Europeans, and yet that is what Secretary of Defense Panetta means. He wants permission. He wants a legal basis. That is just 180 degrees the opposite of the traditional American view.
What would be a legal prohibition? I'm curious. Like what?
Well, if we had entered into a treaty, for example, renouncing the use of biological weapons, which we have, then we would have given that up unless Congress took steps to override the treaty. That's the sort of prohibition that we could impose through international agreement. But that's not what he's talking about. If we saw that there was some action, and he said this in his remarks, where we put together an ad hoc coalition, he'd want to get approval from the UN Security Council before we took action. And again, that's saying, Mother, may I? That's our new motto.